friends, and welcome back again to another episode of Conservation Stories. This is a story where we love to feature folks on the High Plains that are pioneering new ideas and doing things to promote agriculture and our precious way of life here. And today we have with us Ty and Chelsea Criswell from the Plainview area. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Yes, we're really looking forward to spending some time with you today.
I really appreciate it. I do. Can you give me a little bit of your background? You guys both from that area. Where are you farming, and where exactly do you live?
Well, I actually did not grow up in the area. I'm a big city girl. I grew up north of Dallas, and we met in college, and Ty decided to come back to the farm. And so I have been living here for almost 13 years now, and I definitely wouldn't go back. I'm a small town girl now, farmer's wife, and I am very happy. But yeah, definitely a big culture shock for me at first.
Oh, I bet. Ty, what about you? It sounds like you grew up on the farm.
Yes, I'm from Plainview, and so we've been farming. I think my dad started in 1980. So we've just been farming east of town since then.
Okay.
And, even in between the summers at college and stuff, I'd come back and work. So it's kind of what I know.
Yeah. Is it something you wanted to do? Did you plan on coming back?
Well, I never really thought that's what I would do, because I was kind of into engineering and thought I might go to graduate school somewhere, but I don't know. It's just kind of like, this is what you do. And so just kind of fall back into it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of that's just kind of the story that our family, my husband in particular. It's funny how life leads you different directions. My mom was like, I'm never marrying a farmer. And my dad was a music major and a music director at the time, and then went back into farming. So you never know, folks. You never know.
Yeah, there's some kind of draw to it. I'm not
for sure.
It's kind of mysterious.
Yes, it is true. There is something. I don't know what it is, but it is mysterious. So, what are you guys farming? Are you mostly cotton farming?
Yes, I'd say 80-90% cotton, because where we have water, we might do a little corn and maybe milo or wheat, but cotton, I've always felt like this is cotton country, so that's what we're going to grow.
Mm-hmm. Are you dryland cotton?
It's about half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah.
So are you actually in Floyd, or are you in Hale County?
That's about half and half too.
Okay, I wondered. Yeah. So you guys got some pretty good rain, I've heard. Did you get any of it?
Over the past month, yes. Like 6 or 7 inches.
That's really a great time to get rain.
It's all cotton's all open, but it was pretty soft rain. It didn't knock it on the ground like we were afraid of. So
would you mind, like, for folks that are listening that didn't grow up on the farm, explain? I know it seems to people that were like, we want it to rain. And then when it rains, we're like, we want it to not rain. So why explain to folks why this time of year rain is sometimes detrimental?
Well, basically the cotton is dead now. So it really can't use it. And, you get the cotton open and the rain the cotton soaks up the fibers, just like your t-shirt would get really wet, and sometimes it can knock it off on the ground or hurt the grades later on.
Yeah, because they want it to be white.
Yeah, it's still good because the moisture's going in the ground and it'll be there, but we really could have used it in August.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're getting paid not just for the pounds of cotton you get paid based on the quality. And
right.
Yeah, so people may not know, but like cotton is it's graded based on the length and the strength and the color. And so those things can really be impacted by the weather.
And how clean it comes off when it's being stripped. That's something that hurt us last year. I feel like, so our timing of the rain can affect too, just how much cotton's coming out or when we're getting that rain. And so
we had a bunch of leaf trash and got some BG bad grades.
Yeah. And that's something else too that's been coming up in the last few years is plastic contamination. That's a big deal.
Yes, especially with the round bales now and making sure we don't they don't get that in the gin with the wrap they put on.
Yeah. Yeah, it can mess the gin up. And then if it gets to the mill, is it you guys that get fined for that? If you have plastic that gets all the way to the mill?
I'm not sure. We haven't had that problem because we still strip, traditionally with the model builder and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you probably won't. I've heard of like plastic bags and that kind of stuff, and just, people being aware of what they throw out on the ground. You just never know who that's going to harm.
It'll be in the field when I'm stripping, and I'll stop and have to pick it up out of the way or something.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long time since I've run a module builder. I remember when they came out, though. That kind of dates me, but I remember it was kind of like fun.
Oh, yeah. It's our son's favorite job. He goes out with Ty's uncle, and he loves to run that module builder with him. And he just needs a few more inches on him, and he could do it himself.
Oh, my gosh. Give him a stool. That's so fun.
Yeah.
This is pretty revolutionary change from what they had been doing.
Right.
So
it's really true, because I do have vague memories of climbing up into a trailer and stomping on the cotton to try to push it down, and then, riding with my mom to haul that, to the gin and wait in line. And finally they had enough trailers where you didn't have to wait in line so long. But man, a lot changes with innovation, and it's really needed to change around here because of lack of water and those types of things. What do you guys do for dry land? Do you have any kind of, or you've tried any kind of special? I know some people are doing things like they're planting further apart, bigger, wider spacings, what we used to call 2 in, 1 out, or skip row or whatever, and, are you guys trying any of those kind of things, or have you found anything that's helpful?
We really just try and cut the population back as much as we can. So really as low as the planter setting will go, 20,000 or 18,000 or something like that. As far as skip row, we haven't really tried that a whole lot. Obviously insurance is a big factor in that. You just kind of got to play with what they give you as far as that goes.
Yeah. So that just so for people that don't know, like you want to get crop insurance, you have to meet their standards, and anything outside of the norm is definitely not part of their standard.
Yeah. You could do skip row and versus full planting and probably make the same yield. And so you might could cut your expenses back by quite a bit, but the insurance is going to say, well, you planted half, so you only get half the insurance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know there's a really great conference that they hold every year in Kansas called the Bottom Line Conference, and their Soil Water Conservation District holds this, and basically it is any topic that impacts how much you're going to make at the bottom line, and that's kind of what you're talking about here is like you can do. Basically, you're doing 2 different things, but you're getting to the same outcome, so, but whatever you can do to lower your input cost, but you lower your input cost and then insurance is like, well, since it didn't cost you so much, we'll just not pay you.
Right. Which, ideally, that wouldn't be a factor. You wouldn't worry about the insurance, but
I know. That's a whole nother can of worms. And yeah, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this next administration. I wonder what they're going to, if they're really looking at efficiency. I worry about us, what they're going to think,
mm-hmm.
and where that's going to leave us here on the high plains, especially for dry land. But wait and see. And so you guys have a whole nother gig on the side that I have been following for a while, and I would love to talk about your business. And I don't know, Chelsea, I'm guessing that you're kind of the heart and soul of that.
Well, I'd like to say that, but actually, I'm just the face of it, and it was all Ty's idea. But he,
oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yes. So I can't take credit for that, but yeah, we own Acre Rust Clothing Company, and about 3.5 years ago, Ty's always been super creative, and he's always kind of had an artistic outlet that he wanted to look into, and we also just weren't really. He had lots of ideas, I guess I should say, for different shirts and some hats and things. And we just decided let's just try it ourselves. Why not? And so we have a message, and we have a heart in agriculture, and just kind of wanted to spread that. And so we started with 4 designs that Ty came up with, and it's just kind of grown from there.
Wow. Well, I apologize for stereotyping y'all. I just kind of stuck y'all both into some little gender roles that I just didn't realize was still there.
No, it's not people. I mean, I'm usually at the shows and stuff. And I mean, I'll say a little stereotypical. I mean, Ty's usually on a farm, and I have an education background. And so being in front of people and doing presentations and things is right up my alley. And so I take the front of it. But yeah, he is truly the one coming up with all the designs and the inspiration. And I would say the heart behind it. And I get to do all the not as exciting, but the things that have to be done to run the business side of it. So
I hear that. I do. So Ty, what kind of, besides just, this isn't just art, this is definitely a message. And what made you lean in that direction? Like, think, I want to do something creative, but not just creative, but something that has a purpose.
Well, I guess I don't have to think about it.
I think it has to do with, like you said, the draw that farming has had on him and his family, and his grandfather, he didn't mention him earlier, but it was also farmed with them as well. And it truly drew us here. We had options to go other places, but time to come back. And
part of it was I'd seen other brands built around an industry, kind of like mountain biking or something. And I was like, well, I don't know if farming really has that. And everyone's passionate about it and cares deeply about it. And I just wanted to represent that.
Well, I think the name is really unique. I really love the name.
That's also Ty. I gotta say, it's also Ty. So,
yeah, I really liked Acre, but Acre Clothing Company, I felt like it just needed a little bit more to it. So Acre Rust, kind of a vintage feel.
Exactly. Out here on the Texas plains, water is everything, and there's a resource that's as vital as it is fragile: our playa lakes. These lakes are nature's reservoir, catching rainwater to recharge our aquifer and provide lifelines for wildlife. But now they need our help. In collaboration with the Texas Playa Lakes Conservation Initiative and the Cargill Global Water Challenge, Sarah has started the Our Legacy is Tomorrow's Water initiative to inspire and work with landowners to restore and protect our playa lakes. Each playa we save helps secure a sustainable water future for the generations that will be coming after us. Whether it's improving soil health, restoring habitats, or recharging groundwater, we are committed to making a difference. Together, we can build a legacy that we can all be proud of. To learn how you can join in, visit the Playa Lakes Restoration Initiative page on the Sarah website. Let's keep Texas water flowing strong for the future. Visit sarah-conservation.com. So, do you do the design?
Yes. I get my little iPad and draw on it and go through some iterations and
that's finish it up. Well, let me just say I do have 2 of the farmland, the acres, the map with the farmland acres, and I had one for myself that I bought, and then my husband, who never, his favorite thing to get is for us to not spend money. That's his ultimate. But he was like, I want one of those shirts. And so I picked one up at the farm show for him for Christmas. Hope you won't hear this before Christmas, but
Yeah.
ruin the surprise. But so I really think, your passion really is not just what drew you back, but that wanting other people to understand the value that farmers bring to society. And, I think you're probably, I'm guessing y'all feel like me, that's like, it feels like something is vanishing and changing so fast.
Yes, and that, and so I grew up, like I said, north of Dallas, and agriculture wasn't really talked about much unless you took those classes. And I'm still a teacher 2 days a week at a school that I've started, and so we make sure that we integrate that agriculture and just educating our young ones, even though it's all around them. They don't necessarily, they're not necessarily taught about it, and so just being really intentional with that. And so we want to do that through our clothing brand as well.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, this is, are you writing your own curriculum? Or are you using something that's out there and available?
So we actually use Texas Farm Bureau's curriculum that they have. Their resources are really great. And we've been joining their live sessions that they have as well with farmers around Texas. And it's really awesome, free resource out there.
That's really fun. So are those live sessions with farmers?
So once a month, you can sign up per semester for live sessions with farmers around Texas. And we've done sheep and longhorns, and grass was really interesting because, you just don't hear about where it comes from a lot. And so my students thought that was really interesting as well.
That's great. That is great. Is the school is it in Plainview?
It is, yes. It's a homeschool enrichment center. So it's just on Tuesday, Thursdays here. My friend and I just started it this year.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Well, we have a little bit of a common there, and sometime not on the podcast, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
It's probably just be me and you interested in that part. But so I've heard about Farm Bureau's curriculum, and I think that would be a great thing for us to link in the show notes so that people can see what that's all about. And I know be a great thing for teachers. What a great, easy thing to add. Just
absolutely. And there's even scholarships or grants, I should say, to apply for to have your own garden either at your school, or if you are a homeschool family, you can even apply for a grant for a homeschool garden. And so they're funding those once a year as well. Oh,
that's neat. I did not know about that. That's somebody may need to have on the podcast and learn a little bit more about that. That's great. That's super exciting. Absolutely. So it sounds like you guys have some kiddos.
Yes. We've got 3. We have a 8, 6, and 3-year-old. So we're staying busy.
That sounds like fun. Well, I'm wondering if you guys, what are y'all thinking about, like your kids, the next generation, and water for, y'all live in Plainview?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but like places like, Petersburg or New Home or Cotton Center, those kind of places. Is that something that y'all think about and worry about?
Yes, it's going away. So the way I'm farming right now, if they want to get involved, it's not going to be the same. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I kind of looked at a place like Muleshoe. I feel like they used to have a lot of water and now they don't. And so, but I still see a lot of cotton around there.
Yes, I think, we have a farm that's out in that area. And yeah, just the amount of water that's gone down. We moved there because there was like so much water, and places that I saw that were growing a lot of alfalfa at that time are not any longer, and so, yeah, and we have a tenant, and shout out to our tenant because he's super smart. And he's like, we're now, it's split into thirds, really, the farm is, because there's just not enough water, but he's been so good about rotating and bringing cattle and some things like that has really shown some, forethought. And so we've actually done better in farming now that he's been farming and not us farming.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds like, you need more of a holistic approach. Like, what you're doing right now going to benefit next year and so on, and not just cotton back on cotton or, that type of thing, monocrop.
Yeah, no, that's exactly true. And it's nice to hear somebody in your generation, saying those things. And and that you're still here and thinking about, what can I do that will be a benefit for next year or 10 years or whatever? What do you think about, do you foresee, before you retire, that you will be going back to grassland in some areas or more and more dry land? Or what are you have any kind of diversification kind of ideas in mind or things that you've seen that might be working or might work?
Well, going back to grass is, I guess that's the last option, but it may come to that. It seemed like it used to rain some, and you could grow dryland crops, and so that may always be there.
But these are we're in the beginning stages. We've talked a little bit about what are some ideas in the future, and just planning on meeting with Ag Extension Office, or just diving into a little bit more education ourselves on what are some different options that would be successful in this area. And there are some people doing different things. I know you had Leighton Scher on the podcast, and they're definitely doing some different things. And so we're in the research phase of it without a plan. So we're there.
Well, I'm excited to hear that though, because, I keep saying okay, we're going to hit a brick wall in 30 years. Are we going to hit it at 150 miles an hour? Or are we going to figure out how to hit it at 10 miles an hour?
Yeah.
We don't, but you can't. Robert Mace, who is, has been a guest on our podcast. He's kind of I think he's more of our water guru / comedian, because he's really funny. But he is if you tell the High Plains, turn it off, you have an economic disaster.
Right.
And that is absolutely the case. And, looking towards other states, Kansas has done a good job as a state trying to come alongside their farmers and help them to figure out how they can reduce, water usage so that they don't lose so much water, because they had a lot of infrastructure that was going to pull out, because they're hey, you're not going to have water here. We're not going to invest any more money in here. We're going to leave and go somewhere where there's going to be water, and so but if you don't have farmers, you don't really need water, right. So it's kind of a catch-22, but it excites me to hear, young people that are, thinking ahead in a way that is not I'm just going to use it all up and then we'll just leave.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, we want to, that's part of the reason too, we built Acre Rust. We want it to be a generational thing. Our farm is generational. And so we want to continue that in all aspects, whether our children or however our children decide to be a part of it. We just want it to always be an option for them.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really great way to put that. I read an article the other day about a family. I think they're somewhere in the Midwest, where it rains. And they had, I think, 5 children, and none of them have chosen to stay on the farm. So they're about to sell all of the family land and everything. And the guy said, but I feel like my contribution has been that I've raised 5 kids that are their benefit to society, maybe not here on the farm, but in other places. And that was, helpful to me, because in our family, both my husband's side and my side, both sides, when my brothers retire, and after our generation, there won't be anybody involved. And my guess would be nobody will want to own the land even, and so I thought, just what a shame that is. But there's, that is true that they have gone on. And I think our society has produced, a generation or 2 of kiddos that they're benefiting. The world is benefiting from the work ethics that they learned and the things that they learned on the farm.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's transferable skills that they can learn and take with them. And that's truly what we're trying to do as parents, is just raise good human beings that can benefit the world in one way or another. So they can learn those here. And if they want to apply them again here, that's great. If not, then we'll be cheering them on.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, if folks want to look at what you've got and purchase some of your goods, which I highly recommend, where's the best place for them to go and find some of that? And we'll link it also on the show notes so people can click on it. But if they've got their phone in hand right now, they may be like, I want to buy something right now.
Yes, acreandrust.com. It's all spelled out. So
easy.
Yep. And then we have Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok every once in a while. Also, our handle's just Acre and Rust, all spelled out. So.
That's super easy. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate what you're doing. And especially for, when we're talking about cotton, I know you and I we were discussing that a little bit beforehand about the importance of people understanding, I think it's easy for people to think, well, cotton, we don't need cotton. I mean, we need people that are growing food, which I think people sometimes understand that cotton is actually in our food supply chain in more ways than one. But what do you say to folks that are like, well, I'll just wear, polyester, but they're also not going to carry a plastic bag?
Well,
I was going to let you.
well, I just think cotton is better. It feels better. It breathes better. And, polyester, I read all these things about microplastics and pollution and stuff. And, cotton, it is sustainable. You can keep growing it, and
right.
It's not,
biodegrades.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of lost a lot of the industry around here for cotton.
Yeah, I don't remember if you guys I don't know, Ty, if you're old enough to remember that we had a cotton mill in Littlefield. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother would buy denim from there by, boatloads of denim, and so, that's been gone for a while. There's a lot of talk about, trying to bring some of that back. And even Lacey and I spend time with people that are in the end buyers of cotton, which would be, those brands and retailers that, they're feeling the pressure to be more, sustainable and to produce more natural fibers and at a price that, people can afford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not just an elite, like $500 pair of jeans or whatever, but something that's more accessible to people,
Right.
And I think that cotton gets a really bad rap, and I'm not really sure. I think probably, cotton is that's the plant that you associate with plantations and the Civil War and, the atrocities that went on, there during that time. And then seems like it's kind of just carried over. And I feel like, how do we get ahead of this negative press where people are like, I've done some work in the hemp industry, and you cannot believe the nonsense that people will say, like, hemp uses half of the amount of water. And I'm like, that is not true.
Yeah,
it's not true, And I had a conversation even with someone who wrote a report on, chemical use. And I'm like, do you know how much less pesticides we use? So much less. It's like when you're doing something that's good, it's like no one wants to hear. They just want to hear it's bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And there's also a large organic production up here too.
Yes, actually, that conference that we were at, it is an organization. It's called Textile Exchange, and it was actually started out of the organic cotton movement in Lubbock. And now if you're a brand or a retailer, you're part of that organization, and we need more farmers to be involved in those conversations because when we were there earlier this year, there's just like a room of 200 people deciding how they want it grown, and I'm like, okay, I think what we as farmers need to do is we need to come up and say, well, if we're going to sell you our cotton, we want to know that you're sustainable. So we're going to want to see, an audit of all of your mills and an audit of your factories. And also we need all the buttons to be sustainable. So they need to be made from cotton. Like, let's come back with some of our own criteria. Right. Why is it all on us all the time? And so it's good to have farmers in the room that are willing to be the ones that stand up and make some make some comments and add some common sense to those conversations, because if they want it, if there's a market, mostly farmers, pretty much if there's a market, give them a seed and they'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
To include farmers in that conversation from the get-go is a much better idea for sure. And so, Textile Exchange, you should have your next meeting in Lubbock, Texas. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll go down there.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Why don't you come to where the farmers are? So,
yeah.
Well, thank y'all for joining us, and I hope that people have, and I know they have, enjoyed hearing from you guys. Layton was like one of our more popular podcasts, and people love to hear what people are doing around here and how they are, finding ways to stay and where they are and to sustain a way of life that is just really precious to us all. And I'm grateful that you guys are doing that and raising the next generation to do the same. It's a lot of work, and I know more power to you guys.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, friends, thanks for joining us for another episode of Conservation Stories. acresandrust.com. Go check their stuff out. Probably my guess is their t-shirts are 100% cotton. That would be my guess. So you can support the environment. You can support the cotton industry and our local economy and a very precious couple that are your neighbors right here in the Plainview area. So, folks, if you will take a minute to like and share our podcast, that is as good as making a financial contribution to us. It's hugely helpful, and we really appreciate your taking the time to listen in, and we look forward to visiting with you again on Conservation Stories.